So after almost 3 years, we finally had our first dose of an update on Squid Game Season 2. This came in the form of a date announcement teaser trailer that was released by Netflix just a few hours ago. With it only being a 40-second teaser, the show has kept things really close to their chest on this. But outside of the teaser as well, there's also been a statement put out there by the writer and director which has painted some kind of pathway for what's to come in the next 2 seasons of the show. So with that, let's jump into the video and break down all that there was to take away from it. Here is Squid Game Season 2 teaser trailer explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. One thing to bear in mind about this trailer that I thought about after watching it was that it feels very in line with what's going on in the world at the moment, with it being the Olympic Games. So what we actually saw in the trailer might not actually have any relevance to the games that we're going to be seeing in the show. However, with Squid Game being a show that's centered around players competing in different styles of games, there's nothing to say that running around an Olympic-style athletics track couldn't be on the cards. The show is probably going to be bigger and better than ever. When the trailer first opened, it was almost like the perspective of a letterbox, and we saw people were dressed as athletes and getting ready to run. This again makes me think that the trailer is topically themed and focused on the Olympics. However, as the countdown began and the race started, as the athletes started running forward, we saw that there were then people that had the jumpsuit style outfits on with their player numbers on, overtaking them as athletes seemed to stop completely and look like they were going to be running in a completely different way due to being fearful over what was in front of them. There were players that were tripping over and rolling along the ground. Can you imagine a game of endurance and stamina where you just had to keep on running around the track, and the moment that you stopped, you'd be eliminated? That would be pretty brutal and a tough one to complete. The 2 main player numbers that I noticed falling on the floor during the run were 258 and 267. So I wonder if those 2 player numbers are going to have some kind of importance in the next season of the show. Maybe they're going to be the numbers of 2 of the new main characters. All around the stadium, there was quite a haunting sight as there appeared to be tens of thousands of the pink guards that were just standing there and spectating. This was as the players were running around the track struggling. As well as that, we saw Hwang In-ho, who is also known as Frontman, who was in the center of the stadium standing on a podium with several of the guards around him as they were all watching on as well. This is where the only line of dialogue that featured in the trailer was spoken. He said, "It's been 3 years, do you want to play again?" This gave off a really similar feeling and vibe to that of Jigsaw in the Saw movie franchise. The thing with Squid Game is, do they change up the games every time, or will it be a repeat of the old games? Because obviously there's only ever one winner, and they usually don't return. So the use of the word again was an interesting choice. I personally feel as though there will be some new type of game that enters the wider plot, as otherwise it could just end up as a direct repeat of Season 1, which I think people would be disappointed with. And the virality of the show came from the games that everybody was introduced to. The final thing that we saw in the trailer was that Gi-Hun, the doll that is known for killing people on the spot if they move, was sighted and zoomed into in a dramatic fashion. The doll was also present in the stadium as well because we could see the sheer amount of guards that were spectating surrounding it. That makes me think that the people that were running at the start of the trailer and were panicking and falling over were acting like that because Gi-Hun was probably standing at the end of the track waiting to eliminate anybody that moved when the light turned to red. So I wonder if that means that red light, green light will feature as a game in the next iteration of the show. With regards to the story in Season 2 of the show, we know that at the end of Season 1, Gi-Hun didn't get on the plane to go and be with his daughter because he wanted to go back into the game and prevent any more people from being killed or harmed at the hands of Frontman for the purpose of entertainment. And with this photo being released, it shows that he's going to successfully make it back into the games and be given his iconic 456 number that became synonymous with him in Season 1. Plus, he also doesn't have red hair anymore. I think the intention of Gi-Hun is going to be to defeat the Frontman and destroy the games for good, but he's most likely going to need to survive the games in order for that to happen. It's also been said that this specific story of Gi-Hun versus Frontman is going to be something which will continue into Season 3 of the show, which has already been confirmed to be the final season, so the end is in sight. It's quite rare for Netflix to finish a show, in fact their most successful show after only 3 seasons, but clearly they value the story and legacy of it. During this trailer, we also got the announcement of the date that the 2nd season is going to be released. It's said to arrive on Netflix on the 26th of December, Boxing Day of this year, and it was also said that the final season, which is Season 3, will be released on the platform sometime in 2025. So unlike the 3-year wait that we've had between Season 1 and Season 2, It seems like the two seasons are going to be released a lot closer together. I would imagine it will probably be around another year's wait, so towards the end of 2025 for the third season. Outside of the trailer, there have also been some other updates. For example, the writer and director of the show released a statement where he said, "It's been almost 3 years since season 1 was met with incredible response around the world, and many unimaginable events took place. I'm beyond excited to be writing this letter to announce the date for season 2 and share the news of season 3, the final season. On the first day we began shooting season 2, I remember thinking, wow, I can't believe I'm back in the world of Squid Game. It almost felt surreal. I wonder how it will feel for you to be back in Squid Game after 3 years as well." Gi-Hun, who vowed revenge at the end of season 1, returns and joins the games again. Will he succeed in getting his revenge? Frontman doesn't seem to be an easy opponent this time either. The fierce clash between their two worlds will continue into the series finale with season 3, which will be brought to you next year. So the rivalry between Gi-Hun and Frontman is something which is most likely going to take center stage even more, as there's going to be a personal vendetta between them. What was interesting about this as well is the fact that the title of his statement was "The Real Game Begins," and that was also featured in the trailer as well. So I suppose, even though Squid Game in itself is made up of lots of different minigames that people have to compete in, the show is ultimately going to transform into something which is about one specific game, and that game is for the entirety of the games to be completed and finished for good, meaning the poor suffer no more for the means of the rich people's entertainment. With December 26 not actually being too far away in the grand scheme of things, especially considering how long we had to wait before, with it being 3 years, the countdown for the next batch of episodes of the show that took the world by storm has officially begun. The real question is though, will it be able to live up to the hype that season 1 generated and the story be as gripping, engaging, thrilling, emotional, and entertaining as before? They've had 3 years, so one would have to assume that they've put a lot of effort into ensuring that it's going to be as good as what it could possibly be. Outside of the main show, which is set to end next year, there are going to be more Squid Game themed shows that will arrive on the platform. For example, the reality TV series that was released, which was titled Squid Game The Challengers, in which real people competed. It was announced that that show would be returning. You'd have to imagine that that would be hitting the screens between season 2 and season 3, so sometime in 2025. So, there you have it, Squid Game Season 2 teaser trailer explained. If you want to see more videos on your favourite TV shows and movies broken down, then click on the card in the top corner. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. Are you looking forward to Season 2? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.